about what is Git. Imagine that you and your friend are building a bicycle from scratch. First, we make the structure of the bicycle using metals, nuts, and bolts. Then, we add the tires, paint the bicycle, and add the seats. At last, we add the boosters and other extra fittings. Let us name these version 1, version 2, and version 3 of our bicycle. Now, I need to go back to the version 1. Is it possible to go back to the version 1 easily and effortlessly from version 3? Yes. Here's the version control system comes. Similar to this, in coding, we have multiple versions of code. If I need to go back to the previous version of my code, I need a version control system. Basically, the Git is the most popular version control system. It keeps track of every changes in my code. Without Git, I need to manually store every changes of my code and retrieve it when needed. It's a lot of headache. The Git simplifies everything for us. Now, let us see the history of Git. I hope it will be interesting. Come on. We all mostly heard of the person Linus Torvald, the founder of Linux. Linux is a free and open source operating system. During early development of Linux kernel, there were around roughly 10,000 people working on it. Majority of people make small changes, but to maintain this, it been a headache to the Torvald.
And we went through a lot of pain.
They were using the BitKeeper for these changes to keep track of. Initially, BitKeeper was free, but around 2005, the relationship between the Linux kernel community and the BitKeeper company broke down, and the free of charge status was revoked. That is, to use BitKeeper, they have to pay. After this incident, Linux development community, they had decided to create something that was free, speedy distributed version control system to maintain their Linux project. That's how Git is born. Okay, now let us understand some terminologies of Git. Repository and branches. Let us consider you are planting an apple tree. The tree is planted on your backyard. The tree has grown very tall and has multiple branches. Here, the storage location of the tree, that is, your entire code and its changes, is the backyard and it is called repository. The stem itself is called main branch. The others are the side branch of it. Branch is nothing but a new version of your code. That's it. If this is clear to you, let's move on to the types of the version control system. There are two types of version control system. One is centralized and another one distributed. Let us imagine you and your friend working on a project. In a centralized type, there is a central server between you and your friend. Only that server have all the history of changes of your code. If you want to update a file, you ask a working copy of the file from the server and make changes to the central repo. You need to be online completely when you are working on the file. But in distributed system, you and your friend both have an entire copy of repo, that is, entire copy of tree. You no need to be online when you are working. Just you need to online when you are pulling and pushing the code to the server. The biggest disadvantage in centralized system is that if the server failure occurs, you could not retrieve your code or work on it. But in distributed system, even if the central repository fails, you have your own copy of code with all changes. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.